Yes, we are live. We are live, not recording yet. Almost ready to start. Almost ready to start. 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, welcome to the Non-Intuitive Beats podcast, and I have promised I will know what the number of the podcast, I still don't know. And it's brought to you by the Leaders Club that you're part to if you're listening to us, but as usually do consider to elevate your membership status by joining the Discord channel. And today in this virtual studio we have Dmitry Mananigo. Say hi to everyone.
Hi everyone, happy to be here.
You surprised me with a brand new intro line.
You always say hi to everyone. I say hi to everyone. So.
And the current voice that is the most annoying on the podcast, that would be me, Slava Kovalevsky. My friend, remember some time ago I had the problem with vocal cords.
Mm-hmm.
So
is it again?
No. Yes, but no in the short. So the problem is not went away, but I debugged it for several things. It's mostly chocolate, specific type of coffee beans and their amount of this coffee, and temperature that my vocal cords exposed to. And like these three things, if you mix them in the wrong way, my vocal cords will not survive for a day.
Interesting. So how did you debug it?
So the first thing was coffee. It was so prominent after drinking specifically coffee at home that I was feeling much worse. And I limit the specific amount of coffee because this was similar symptom, but not the same order of magnitude when I was at the office. So looks like it's strengths of the coffee is something that I'm doing at home. Then chocolate with immediate speaking after, like that's something that I have noticed, and open window with a cold wind each time when that was happening.
That is more, like I would suspect it, like a cold wind.
Cold wind, yes, but turns out chocolate is actually disturbing your vocal cords.
Interesting. I didn't know.
Me neither. Me neither. Since I injected a small topic, do you want to jump on yours? Because I see you added one interesting in the end, which is quite... I would love to learn more from you.
So which one are you talking about? I added two.
Two? I see one. This one. Oh, yes, you added to subtopic. Okay, let's speak about this device that you are looking into right now.
Yeah, I switched to 6K monitor from Dell, and so far this is one of 2 6K monitors available on market. Second one is Apple, I forget, one that costs like 5,000 pretty much, which I wouldn't buy. I bought Dell one, not on a full price. I bought refurbished from Amazon, so it's like less. Interesting device. So my motivation was before I had 2 4K monitors. And I have KVM setup which didn't work very well, and I wanted something like a bigger, more estate, but I didn't want to put like 3 monitors because now you need to look left, right. This was looking like a good solution. It's like 32-inch, so it's still big, so you have like a lot of real estate. Like 6K resolution allow me to run it in a half of this resolution, which makes it like really good font and like everything looking. And it has KVM setup. So hardware is good. I have an issue with microphone, but I suspect it because this is refurbished and I may be returned because of it. Camera is like you see, it's okay. It's not a good, not bad. But interestingly, like Dell also have a tools that you install on your macOS, which helps you with things like shortcut to switch between your 2 laptops. And that one is horrible. Like it's so strange piece of software that like it works really weird. For example, This software has a setting where you can open and add some changes to your camera, like a color, maybe something else. However, after you close settings, they still hold on camera. So camera still pointing video in macOS, like having this icon, like pushing video. So I end up removing this software and actually buying third-party software, which provides me shortcut for switching between KVMs. But it's often case with hardware manufacturers. Like they have a good hardware, but software is awful. Like this is like why Apple has always impressed me, right? Like they do both parts very well. But in conclusion, I would say it's not worth it. Like with this price, if you pay from your pocket, like I wouldn't say like this is a good idea to buy this monitor. Like software is laggy. Plus I found, for example, MacBooks, I have M1 and M3. Very similar. However, for some reason, M1 can't really run 6K resolution through HDMI, but M3 can, which is like totally weird and strange. Or, for example, if you
but Thunderbolt is okay, right? If you are attaching through Thunderbolt, which
so that's what I'm like. I am touching one with Thunderbolt, another one with HDMI. Another thing, Thunderbolt actually allows you to daisy chain like this monitor or something else, but not HDMI. So I spend a lot of, like, not a lot, but I spend some time plugging wires and, like trying to figure out like why my microphone doesn't work. It's like USB 2, USB 3 issue, something else. I hope maybe like in a few years they will be cheaper, like more manufacturers will make them, and that would be like a better choice. But so far, probably not. And I'm planning to return mine in a month or so, especially if they will not resolve issue with microphone.
I see. Speaking about the monitors, I have ultra fine 5K from LG and I'm loving it. The reason why I mentioned this, okay, it's smaller. I thought maybe the same. No, it's smaller, 27 inches, not the 32 that the one that you has. And I'm loving it.
On 27, I was thinking about this one. Actually, I was thinking about there are a few monitors which is like a wide, which has like on height they have similar resolution as 4K, so I can run it like I like. But yeah, they were like too big, and this one for me is too small because like I wanted something like more than 30 inches, but with a good DPI on the screen.
Yeah, this is the biggest problem. There is so many ultra wide monitors, and then you look on them and they are not not Retina. And how people using this? I just looked.
I'm pretty sure most of them people use for gaming, like where people don't really, at least I found that many PC players, they don't really care about resolution, more on FPS side. And if you actually look at Amazon description of this like ultra wide monitors, they usually have like in the first specs, not a resolution, but like 144 hertz, or like some like sub millisecond response, things like this.
True, but then I have a follow-up question. Why almost no one have HDR? If you want gaming, you still want proper colors. At least I think you want if you don't have resolution.
It's strange. Yeah, I hope like over time they will develop like more of it, because I was surprised to find only 2 6K monitor exists like at all. So maybe in the future.
Yeah, and speaking about the monitors and adjusted topic TVs, I just recently have learned that our favorite LG OLED have already several updates in the OLED series of TV. And last time when I was shopping around, when I was updating mine, the biggest one was 77 inches. Now they have 83 and 90 inches. It's just crazy. I have a neighbor that was saying, "Oh, we're planning to buy 83." Like, wait, what? They have 83 inches.
When you construct a house, instead of like constructing a house and like wall and then putting TV, you can just like replace one wall with a TV.
97 inches. Here we go. 97 inches. It cost $20,000 for the OLED.
I'm trying to quickly check 97 inches. It's 2.5 meters.
2.5 meters. Jesus.
Oh, by the way, on this note, do you still use Alfred for macOS?
Yes, I minimalistically, but I use, and I think you suggested the tool that I forgot to check. What was
Raycast. I just like found that I typed like 97 inches, and then it gives me like results and like as you expect, without plugins, without anything.
Okay, let me add it to my to-do list. I forgot.
So you added many topics. What is OpenInterpret?
Okay. So OpenInterpreter. So this is an interesting project that I wanted to tell. So this is effectively giving access to your laptop. I think I might have mentioned some time ago, but anyway, it's you giving access to your laptop for LLM. In a sense that it's not only access in a bash, but it actually can observe the screen.
Okay.
So, and because of that, you can do things like help me to set up Wi-Fi. So, you have to click here. You have now to go to settings. Here is a Wi-Fi. Now type your password. Like, my password is one password. Okay, what is your one password? And you can click and actually do it.
Is it OpenAI or like separate company?
I know why you mentioned OpenAI, because style of the website. This is completely separated. Open source has nothing to do with OpenAI, and it just got popular. It just got popular.
But is it like what does it use? Like some local LLM or something else?
The idea is similar to Cru UI. It has abstraction, and you can attach whatever you want.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I really like that they start doing it.
Yeah, and by the way, speaking of that, this is a nice segue of a small update that I have with my Cru UI experiment. I keep doing my personal assistant, and I keep adding it tools, and I finally fully migrated on the local LLM. And just a reminder, Cru UI allows you to build this graph of assistants. So effectively, you can have a smart cloud or smart OpenAI as the second layer, and the first layer could be local. And I finally have found one of the models that is, for me, good enough to be a first level communication channel that is fast and can be executed locally. And that is Mistral 7 billion parameters that quantize to 4-bit. This is the one. It's for now in a mild and very good shock how good it is. Let's put it
uses like for like simple questions, right? Or like what type of questions it's useful?
So because it's effectively the way how it implemented, because it's first layer, it's trying to do several things. If it's a generic question, you're asking how the voting system in US works, it just can do it. It just can answer to you. If you're asking it to Google something, it can do it. It can Google and summarize the results for you. And it's capable of utilizing many tools that will give it. But if I want something like, give me the financial market analysis where I want it to be more smart, so to speak, it will go to ChatGPT. But it's absolutely capable of having a generic level conversation with you.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I use this one, but switch to Mistral. I think that it's also their model. But that one was sometimes slow. Maybe I need to try this one as well.
Yeah, that's one. As you see, they even have a comparison. So this one is 5 times faster, effectively. But I also was trying Mistral. I think the question in quantization. So I honestly don't know how much they're quantizing Mistral. And these ones specifically are so much smarter. It's actually smarter than I think Llama 2. Because of that, obviously quantization make it more stupid, but they have a leeway because of how good that is before the quantization.
And you install it via Ollama?
Yes, I installed it via Ollama. Have you used it?
What, Ollama?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I use Ollama, and I use UI called, I think, Web Open UI or something like this.
Nope.
I'm trying to find. Yeah, it's Open-UI. Oh no. Yeah, I try to find I remember I have something, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
Open Web UI. Yes, it used to be Olama Web UI. Oh my God, it's anyway.
And it plays well. I think it's like the best setup so far to start using these LLMs locally without, dealing with the Hugging Face, weird files. Like a couple of commands in Bash and it works. That's what I was looking for a long time.
Yeah, it looks and feels really nice. I don't know. I'm really looking forward for the Cru UI having their system enabled, because this is a problem for me. I want to have this hierarchy. I really want to have one chatbot with hierarchy. And right now, there is already tons of the abstraction like this that will give you UI with any model behind. And then you have a Cru UI on the side. And I really want them to find each other and finally to build a similar UI where instead of LLM, you're specifying Cru and talking to specific Cru. That's really, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Sorry, I will start reading documentation. That's something that one should not be doing. Since I mentioned Cru UI, I have a very small thing that I want to mention about them. I just realized that they actually have support of memory, which is amazing. So they literally allows you to specify embeddings. The model that do embeddings. I still do not know where they store it. That's weird, because they ask you to specify model that doing embeddings, but in order to store it, they still need a vector DB. And for vector DB,
like it's some cloud product, right? You can connect it to your models locally, but it's still like everything else in the cloud, like memory. It's not like open source product.
Embeddings can be open sourced, so you can have an embeddings model local, and then vector DB also, there is open source vector DBs that you can connect to. So either of them.
The whole thing, it's just like a Python script. So what it is, like I'm trying to understand how it works, like from perspective of a user.
So that part I have not read the source code inside, because when this is also interesting to me, the way how I implemented it before, I would be periodically asking ChatGPT, are there any information here that is available about the user that might be useful later? And I just periodically ask this question, and if yes, go and store it, and we'll go and store it to DB. And then in my pre-prompt, it says that you have a tool loading from the memory. So if something is not clear, always first try to query from database the question, and then if you don't have it, then answer the user. And these two just works. How they implemented it, my guess, something like that. Something pretty much similar, where they periodically asking model, do you need to save something? So what not clear to me is where do they store it? So they have a model that doing embeddings, but then need to store this embedding something. So either they actually have built a custom database, or maybe using some in-memory database, or I have no clue. That is super weird. I have not played it. This will be my homework. Next time, I promise I will.
Okay. Maybe I also need to take a look. Sounds interesting.
Okay, I don't think we have anything about... Oh no, you have a topic about AI developers' responsibility. Sounds like the slogan that someone would tell before going to election. So...
No, I was actually like, it was a bit related to news from last week, where someone found that Israeli Defense Force, they were using AI to target Hamas members, and apparently they were using some AI and no one actually checked output. Like, okay, AI says strike here, then strike. I don't want to talk specifically about this particular event, but more in general, right? Because even if we talk about not something as emotional as like a war happening, but let's make something more like day to day. So someone trying to get their credit approved by credit organization, right? And right now, credit organizations, they do all kind of checks, and it's like very hidden, but I believe they still have, like algorithms. And audit can check, okay, are you actually complying with audits? The same happens like when audit happens on a stock market. If someone buying something, there are many companies who do run this kind of checks and to see, okay, is it scam or not? And then it can make people like really huge troubles, right? Like if someone target you as a like insider trading, then you get like really pain in the ass. So, and they have like a way to prove it, right? Like, okay, we did check this one, sales, but with machine learning, like especially like I'm talking about like LLMs and like neural networks. Yeah, it's not like a simple machine learning where you actually can do the math, but we often just like put the data and we get some outcome. And we can see like day by day that outcome is good, right? Like for example, if we talk about, let's talk about insider trading as an example. We pull a lot of data and it gives us, oh, this person is insider trading. Then we start digging and this person indeed insider trading. So we start believing it works really good because like for last 5 years, like it found really like many insider tradings and all of them were insider tradings. So we start believing it's good. So we stop doing due diligence on these outputs. You know, like if machine says this person is insider trading, it's probably this. And we try to reduce costs, so we remove person after, right? Now we automatically mark everyone who's, but we don't have any way to prove it. And machine learning models black box, and it can target the wrong person, right? And someone can have a really bad time after that. And the question, like what we do here, right? Like it's especially, is there a responsibility on developers for such models? Because if you're making software for, I don't know, like medical system, right? And you know you're doing it wrong, it's like responsibility is on you. Because like you literally like make wrong code because maybe you want to make it badly, maybe you just like make a mistake because you didn't pay attention. But with machine model, like with the LLM, you can do like as good as you can, but it still can do harm. The question, is there any responsibility on developers of such models, or it goes only to users? Like people who use this model to, you know, target other people?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and it's been around actually for quite some time in the sense of responsible AI. There is many services that got created around that, but it's actually a question of several things. You can think about responsible AI. One is just overall direction to teach people how to create the data that will be used to train the AI. That's the first direction, because if you will combine data incorrectly, you will have exactly the edge cases that you have described. Now, but there is a second thing. You genuinely will have tons of the tail events or tail edge cases that you should not expect AI to handle correctly and properly. Now, the question, how many of these tail events you want to cover? And this is a question of money. You never will be able to exhaust all of them. And I don't think there should be a requirement that any AI provider who develops the AI should be able to cover all of them. I don't think there might be requirements statistically to prove that you cover 99.9% of the cases. That, yes, with that.
You see, this is a problem, right? Like when we talk about someone getting price of their car insurance based on LLM, sure, car insurance company doesn't need to make like 100% perfect, because if someone gets like really huge insurance quote from the company because LLM did some wrong, they can walk away. But once we get in a situation where it's like a people's life affecting, that's like very, very different, right? So maybe we should actually have a really good understanding that we can't trust LLM fully, like just in general. Like, and if something is affecting people's life, should be, I don't know, in some cases maybe even regulated. Like if you're doing LLM, like it's okay to give you pre-filtering, but you should avoid false positive by always checking data after, even if it costs money.
Yes, but you cannot check everything. So in the sense that you cannot say that you have to check all the edge cases, so to speak. The government, for many, in my opinion, the government for many use cases, including probably self-driving, should eventually provide set of tests. And to be fair, it's not different from anything else right now in the industry. What I mean by that, let's take car industry. the car cannot guarantee survivability in all edge cases because it never was tested. I don't see the too big difference, the fact that car was never tested for some new scenarios in which it actually drastically degrade your safety just because it was never tested under such circumstances. And edge case of AI that also was not tested. There should be a set of requirements that your car guarantees survivability of particular level under particular circumstances. And each car manufacturer is called New Car Acceptance Program, NCAP, and each car actually have to pass NCAP as a minimum, get the score based on this. With AI, why not the same? Like, here's the thing that your AI have to play fair and square. And in other cases, best effort, so to speak.
Okay, so we move it to like acceptance of low probability events, right? Like if the more critical event, the lower probability of such event should be, right?
Yes. That's. By the way, very good example with Boeing and 737 MAX. Not that if you read the documents, not that Boeing didn't know about the faulty system. They assigned a completely unreasonable probability of that happening. That was the actual mistake. But they assumed that, yes, this is an edge case, it can happen, and they accepted the risk.
Yes, that's a problem, you know, like people still win lottery and people still get in the plane.
True, but you know, roughly around 1980, I think, was the last airplane that was forbidden to fly if any system in the airplane is broken. After that, the airplane became so complex that almost no airplane in the sky doesn't have something broken right now. This system would be a small, like, redundant electricity for the entertaining system that is broken, so like no one give a shit, and maybe it will be fixed. In some cases it can be a light that shows if your landing gear is up or down. It's unoperational, but it's a low risk and no one going to ground the airplane. So to some extent we're already in the world where we're trying to guess probability of safety and work backwards from there. What makes AI actually much different is explainability. If the airplane goes down, you actually can trace everything to decision that someone assigned this. In AI, it's actually much harder.
Yeah, I think my initial idea was in a set of things where human eye could actually catch a problem. But instead AI was used, like only AI was used, and final decision is non-revertible. Like obviously, like shooting someone with a rocket because AI say, hey, this is a bad guy, it's one thing. But there are more earthy examples. Like, remember stories when people got banned on Google completely? Like, they like businesses based on Android and like emails, everything got banned because Google just triggered them by some reasons. And the issue with Google was because like it's very hard to get actually like find a human and say, hey, you actually did a mistake, please check. Because for Google, you just like one more account. And with Google being black box, right? But it's like corporation. You still can go to other like, not in all cases, but in many cases you can use other email providers, right? Like your business can be fucked up for a time. But when we're talking about, again, like something in a real life that life depends on, then I'm a bit I was like scared of like this black box. Again, as you say, there's no like traceability what's going on, and there's no appeal to like, okay, saying, hey, I think it's wrong and I demand, like a special process which will check step by step and maybe for my money and prove me that I was wrong and not a system was wrong. But now it's just, okay, black box says no, and that's it.
Yeah, I understand you. And by the way, on that specific note, there is many services that trying to do explainability. So the Google Cloud has a whole set of services that provides explainable AI. It's a big niche, and unfortunately, no one can exactly tell you like, oh, here is exactly the data that led to a model learning this way, and this was a decision. but it more or less can build this fuzzy chain that is mentioned. It's and explain to you why it derived to this conclusion. It costs money. Because really what it's trying to do, it will take everything in the models, eventually a tensor. Tensor is just multi-dimensional metrics with numbers, and it will take your metrics that got input and it will try to tune a little bit numbers until it will understand which particular part of this tensor model is especially sensitive to. So then it go backwards and try to figure out this part of the tensor, which data it represents, and then it says, oh, it actually super sensitive to the logo on your hat that they have seen. And yes, and who knows why, but this is at least now we know. Now we can add to the model this logo and says that this is this person. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is important direction. I didn't know about that. I think pretty much in finances, people should chasing that because I know like a lot of people in finances wants using LLMs and other things for market thing, but it's not possible from regulation standpoint because you can't really explain.
Yes, but to be fair, this will work in a very simple environment. Very simple environment in the sense, if you are saying someone should get credit or not, you have one model, one set of inputs, one output. The moment you're getting much more complex, where you have tons of the models that exchanging information live, like self-driving, it's a good example, much harder. But here is a twist, and let me get your perspective on this. Let's take the self-driving industry. Let's assume theoretical that Waymo is the Waymo is driving right now, and let's assume that Waymo is much safer than any possible human being who is driving. Much safer than any possible human being doesn't mean safe. It means safer.
Okay.
And this means that inevitably there will be cases when self-driving will lead to fatalities that could have been avoided by a human being. So yes, it on average kills way less people, but the people that it does kills would be not the same people that human do.
You know, like I once read a comment about this, like that human drivers accuracy and safety is a pretty low bar to target.
True, average true, but you still can identify the golden standard, which is fully focused human that is not impaired and focusing on the road only. So yes, you can be even better at that. But the key is you're still going to kill people, but the different people that the human would do. So now what do you do? Like you are safer, but if you will demand full explainability, you might not allow the technology ever, which means that more people will die because you're not giving a green light.
Yeah, I'm again, I don't know. Like we still need to know because we need to know situations when imagine car like. Waymo car did something really strange and killed someone, like really strange, like something that unpredictable. Sure, we can try to make a test and find that, hey, it actually behaved wrong in this situation. We apply this test, we return model, it doesn't behave same way in this test. But without knowing like what actually causes this situation, it may happen in a different place, you know, like because we have a test case, but we may cover only small one of small conditions, right? And we need to explainability. It's like with the software, right? Like you sometimes can patch things like without really fully understanding them, and you have like somehow very good results, but it will broken in the future because you don't really understand full system.
Yep. Yeah.
Regarding say, I remember iRobot movie with the Will Smith?
Yes, yep.
They actually like one of the things they put there, like it was mentioned like only like in one dialogue because he didn't like robots because he was in a situation when the robot actually saved him instead of some little girl when they were like both in a danger and girl died and he was survived because robot saved him.
Oh, because probability, the robot calculated probability of survivability. So robot
actually have explainability why he did that. But obviously human would work differently. But in our case, like robot can save someone and we didn't know why.
To be fair, so here is what gave me pause. If you're aiming for the logic for the robot to solve something, that chain of thoughts can easily be preserved. What specifically is harder is what in the human being can be called as brain fart. So the neural network still perceptive to hallucination, to complete bullshit thinking. So in this example from iRobot, it's actually not a problem today with our technology to record everything that the model taught. The problem comes that imagine this robot saves Will Smith, and then we're opening the black box, and turns out it have not seen the girl. It doesn't recognize that there was a girl in the first place.
It has a better, car. Like some weird, like a...
Yes, so like something like that. And now you don't have a state of neurons that will, so you can actually go back and figure out which particular color shade triggered the brain of the robot to ignore the girl in the first place. But the logic was sound. Like, yeah, there was only one guy, so it saved one guy.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We'll see how we need more science fiction writers to start writing books on the topic. I'm pretty sure, I read a lot of science fiction, but I never stumbled upon many of these kind of questions. Usually science fiction, they assume robots are like humans. They have some fixed things. The only probably blind spot was about intelligence that doesn't have really thoughts.
Blind spot? What do you mean?
It was name of the book.
Ooh, okay.
Maybe not. Was it? This one looks like not.
Yeah, that's a different. This is not a fiction. This is just biases and
fiction book. Book is actually pretty good from science fiction standpoint, but
this one a novel, Thomas Mullen.
I'm now not sure. It's maybe it was a different.
Oh, anyway, you will have a homework to find the right book.
I was reading in not an English version, so I don't. Oh, Blind Sight. One word.
Plain sight.
Blind.
Oh, blind sight.
I don't know why. Yeah, that was very famous one. It's an interesting exploration on what if intelligence is not aliens like humans, but something that behave like human, behave like intelligence, can do like intelligence, but essentially something like LLM. You have no idea what's inside and why it's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, aren't we all in a sense?
Technically, yeah. We just want to believe that we are reasonable.
This reminds me that in the Terminator 3, when the Skynet takes over and finally attacks humanity, in the end, they have there's a moment they're saying, "Oh, the Skynet operates in 60 teraflops capacity." This is two GeForce 4090 together these days.
Very efficient.
Yes.
Regarding black box, sorry, on the book side, but I remember I was reading old, not poem, old book. It was some unknown author from a journal, but he was describing a world, our world, which was very changed on social level because someone found a way to affect brain with pictures. And there was an event when some terrorists went to a TV show, which was live, and showed pictures that people seen live. And because picture was structured in a special way, everyone who see had a brain, brain damage immediately and dies. And a lot of people died, and it's changed society, how everything, starting from TV shows, they have 10 minutes delay and someone constantly sitting and keeping finger on a button to stop a show, to how people deal in the school, and everything. So, and the idea was okay, our brain also can react to something that is specific pattern, and it can have a shortcut. So maybe LLMs will have the same in some way.
This reminds me, there is a a huge article, several articles that was released quite recently. I think Insider posted them, and it was. Yes, I think there was Insider article, like literally recently, big one, and so effectively what this syndrome is, there is a chain of interesting events where some CIA operational officers got exposed to something, and this is still unknown. The theory goes that there was a dedicated wave of some sort, sound wave or just wave, that was constantly pointing to their brain.
Okay.
That created a damage that's almost impossible to identify. So it's a pattern vibration, but if you're exposed to it for a prolonged amount of time while you sleep, you will have tons of the symptoms like headaches, severe headaches. Your internal ear would not allow you to orient in the space, and it got named Havana syndrome because it started in USSR time in Havana, and this is where the CIA operatives first got exposed to it. And recently again, the several CIA agents got impacted, so to speak, with something. Still, no one knows where it's originated.
They have symptoms that they can describe, but medically you can't really figure out what's going on and if anything.
Yes.
And probably they have a sick days, paid sick days.
No, that's actually a problem. One of the things why the Insider posted this, because several CIA agents got denied, because nothing from doctors, they weren't able to tell what is actually happening. And apparently to identify that you actually have Havana syndrome, you need to go in a very special hospital that's trying to figure out the methodic to identify it. And a lot of folks were just denied. They would send to a first level doctor, he's saying, you're fine, like literally fine. MRI says you're fine, so you're fine, go back. And
that's what my employees say. Get back to work.
Yes. So one of the famous CIA agents who like supposedly was a rock star who got impacted, he eventually fed up with that and he went to press, became a whistleblower, and now we have the story. Also, from this story, I have learned an interesting fact that CIA has what is called, this is a weird term. We started from AI, now we're speaking about CIA, but nevertheless.
They probably use AI to spy on us.
Maybe, yes. But from this story, I learned the notion of duty to notify. So it turns out that CIA legally has a special requirement to notify anyone, it could be even enemy, if they know about third party like terrorists who trying to attack enemy or friend, doesn't matter, if they have a way of generalize this information in the way that will not compromise sources, and if it's generalizable, they actually obligated to tell it. There is many reasons for doing so, and the logic is, especially there was an ask why you're doing it with enemies, for example, and the logic is that it shows to people in the chain that the information travels to the enemy how much you know. That actually periodically leads to some of the people on that chain would reach to CIA and would start leaking information because they see how many things CIA knows and what it can do. So this leads to elevated trust of people after those examples, so to speak, to actually go and work on CIA when they trying to recruit.
I actually was very surprised. I mean, I never dig into it, but I was very surprised to learn that CIA and KGB, they had a lot of relations even when countries officially was very like knives out situation. But KGB and CIA like always like have like, you know, talking to each other. I guess it's like a professional. They both exist because other one exists. So
yes. Okay. By the way, I need to mention I actually have a hard stop today at 6 p.m. PST, so we will have to stop in roughly 5 minutes. But anything else that, my friend, you want to bring up as a topic of the day?
No, we can discuss something lightweight or stop. I'm fine with both.
I want to discuss one interesting video. So there is a new wave of channels that popularizing the topic that I used to bring up quite often, which is men's rights. And I stumbled upon this psychiatrist, the guy that has channel of Psych Hacks. YouTube just suggested to me, so to speak. So what could go wrong if you click on the random videos that YouTube suggesting to you? And I'll try to give a gist of the video, so to speak. But this is an interesting perspective that originates in YouTube, so to speak. So this guy is speaking. From the perspective of unhappy marriages, where some of the boys feel that they might have stuck, and he created this specific video to say that that the time is on the man's side. And here is what I mean by that. I'm thinking where to start. Yeah, I'm thinking where to start. The topic is so interesting and complicated. So why a lot of modern Western women ending up by themselves, and why it's time on the men's side. So the first thing first, value that oh Jesus, no. You know what? I'm not going to describe it today. I need to rewatch it and prepare myself, because I had this topic from like 4 episodes ago, and now I'm trying to recall exactly what I wanted.
You'll rewatch it and explain. And I will ask you about all numbers. When you say there are many people doing X, I will say how many?
Yes. Okay, on that specific note, I remember some of the stats. So this guy is starting from describing the modern feministic society, that a lot of the women are emphasizing that they do not need men, that they have a very high requirements for their contra-peer. And in the end, when they stating this, some of them ending up without the husband, without the child. Okay. And from this, I remember the stats, because you mentioned that more than 80% of people who end up in that situation, specifically women, I actually end up in that situation not willingly. So at some point they changed their mind, but it was too late, because the dynamic of relationship between men and women are very different when both of them are in their 15 to 30s. And everything changed between 30s to 40s. And this is usually where opinion from the women changed, that she actually do want to have a partner, do want to have a kid. But this is also simultaneously changes the dynamics on the man's side, because a lot of men, they do want to date, so to speak, date down someone who are younger than themselves. And there is many reasons for that. So now what happens is the women that are now educated with several higher degrees, so to speak, and they usually prefer to date up someone who is better than them. So on age-wise and on requirement-wise, they have such a small dating pool in this universe, so to speak.
It's hard to get anyone.
Yes, and on the same side, from this dating pool of people who qualifies, the man would prefer dating down, so they would prefer a much younger person. And this is also
about Leonardo DiCaprio.
yes. So another piece of the stats that he brings is, out of 10 women that are single will tell you that that the man would prefer them but intimidated by them, but at the same time 8 out of the men who was in this relation would tell you that no, they're not intimidated, they just want someone younger. And that's about it. So anyway, this is some random, you asked about the stats, this is stats that I remembered from the video, but it shows the interesting narrative how many of the women who used to be radical feminists changed their mind, and overall statistically what the outcome they might expect. The outcome is not pleasant, so to speak, for majority again, 80% of them ending up in situation being single without the shield unwillingly, but they change their mind in the process, and that's the important part. But then it's too late to do anything about this.
It's like, remember, like famous, if you're not liberal in your 20s, you don't have a heart. If you're not conservative in your 50s, you don't have a brain.
or brain or money.
That's, yeah.
If you don't have money, you always will be liberal. Let's take them from reach and redistribute, right? Okay, less than that's here. This is almost exactly on the spot. Then anything you want to say to our listeners, my friend? We actually have almost 20 people listening to us right now.
We have 1 minute, so bye everyone. Slava needs to go.
Yes, that is true statement. Thank you everyone, and we'll talk to you next time, same time. Next week, same time, same place. Yes. See you. And thank you, folks. Bye bye.